Tower Blitz, a game filled with deep lore you may not have noticed when looking at it normally. You may have a lot of questions about it. Most of these will probably be answered here in this video as I explain the entire lore of Tower Blitz. So, some details before starting. The lore plays in basically two major factions, namely known as the UEC and the XCF. Later I will be going into more details about these factions. Now there are different kinds of invaders, like the Spore. This enemy is said to infect defenders, making them slowly turn into a Spore. And there are more types of enemies, but I just want to continue to the main story, and you probably want that as well. So we'll do that. Long ago, the defenders and the invaders worked in peace, having lots of technological advances. Although one day that all changed. A strong civilization had a civil war that the invaders ended up winning, or also known as the XCF. The defenders took to seek refuge in a planet called Earth, where they made the UEC, stands for United Earth Command, a faction thing where to unite the living defenders and to fight the invaders, which are also known as the XCF, Seraph. What was that? Seraph Command Force. Not all is bad though, since the UEC discovers a cloning technology on Earth which they use to duplicate their troops, also known as towers. Now, the XCF, also called the X Faction, is made up of 9 branches that all have their own leaders and armies. A branch called the Orion branch decides to exterminate the UEC. So they sent in the Volt Union. Now, do note, this Volt Union is led by the Volt Master, but the entirety of the Volt Union is led by the Orion branch, which is led by the Overlord. It's a pretty complicated system, but yeah. So basically the Volt Union attacks the UEC. Now, of course, we kill all their spores, and eventually we also kill the Volt Master, which is the leader of the Volt Union. Now, with the death of the Volt Master, a completely different faction attacks us, known as the ISC. The leader of this faction is Ignitus, saw the death of the Volt Master, and thought it would be the perfect time to invade. So, he sends out his right-hand man, Saber Champion, to lead the battle. Saber Champion eventually gets infuriated because the defenders are killing everything. So he decides to come out himself, but this does not end well as we kill Saber Champion. Now this results in Ignitus coming out himself, leader of the ISC, Interstellar Space Commerce, I think it is. I forgot to write it down. But the ISC faction eventually goes down as Ignitus dies. Now, finally, it's time for the UEC to relax. They've just killed the Volt Union. They've now killed the ISC. So, there's nothing for them to worry about. Hey, they can just still chill on Earth, repopulate. It's all good. Well, that's not the case, since the Orion branch of the XCF sends out all their troops to kill the UEC. Now, we do not know why this war has started, but we think it's due to the X Faction wanting some of that cloning technology. The UEC, that doesn't work, but the UEC ends up stealing plasma technology from the XCF. The XCF originally used it for shields, as seen in the ray gunners. The defenders now use this technology for weapons, like in the Electrizer and also in the Elite. Now, the X Faction was attacking. So the X Faction decides to send a super class unit, which is called the Berserker. But It's just a puppet leader that tricks the captain into thinking it is the final boss. When we kill it, the captain finds out that it's not the final boss, so we keep fighting. Now, eventually, we detect something on our radar, which seems to be the Vault Master. But we already defeated the Vault Master in the fight with the Vault Union. So, what could it be? Yep, that's right, it's an entirely modified version of the Vault Master, which is called Bolt Master, which has been modified only to kill us. And guess what? It fails at doing so. Again. So we continue on, of course, until we detect something even bigger than Bolt Master that we just encountered. And it is called the Robotic Overseer, which is the main leader behind the robotic enemies of the X faction. According to its description, is also the last higher up member of the X faction we have encountered. But it has gone through several modifications, giving it weapons like a minigun and rocket launchers. But hey, not all is bad since we kill it. Now, the battle is of course not over yet, as the captain detects another force coming in. An avant guard comes out and the captain presumes that there will be greater thing coming out soon. Now, the captain was right, as the Vanguard came out. Now, the Vanguard is said to be one of the XCF's finest generals, and it is here to exterminate the UEC. But we hold our ground once again and kill the Vanguard. Now, here things start to get weird, since creatures with eyes all over them start to come out. Now, these guys seem defenseless, but they are yet so strong. Now, the next wave we find out that these are the Corrupted's enemies. Now, the Corrupted itself is an interesting boss, since it does not come from XCF or UEC origin. Now, we find this out since the Corrupted tries to send through quote-unquote corrupted enemy messages, trying to get the defenders presumably on his side. This fails since the captain fully shuts down all communications, leaving us on our own. Now, the Corrupted is presumed to have learned too much about the universe, turning it into a massive eyeball, which was apparently called Eification. But hey, once again, we kill it. Now, the Overlord realizes it is starting to lose the battle. He decides to send in almost all of the remaining invaders he has. But once we kill those, he comes out himself, still thinking he is the strongest being alive. Now, this turns out not to be true. We kill him. Now, with the Overlord defeated, this is where the main storyline ends. Now, as a perfect point in the video, I think I should let you know. Yeah, I'm just leaving you a note to subscribe to my channel, since you're already so far into the video, so you've probably been enjoying it. Why else would you be here? So, like and subscribe, it helps out a ton, doesn't cost you anything. Now, with that being said, let's continue on to the lore. So, the Cold Construct event storyline. So Tower Blitz has an event that has come back 2 times now, called the Cold Construct event. This event, of course, also has some complicated lore. So let's start. It is thought that the constructs helped us with defeating the X faction. Therefore, we think the Cold Construct event happens after the defeat of the Overlord. So basically, the constructs are some sort of robot beings, being similar to the XCF's robotic enemies. This also makes sense, as the constructs are being led by a former XCF branch leader called Glacius. Now Glacius has gone rogue, leaving the X faction and placing the constructs under his control. Now he also wants the UEC dead for no apparent reason, it seems. So he sends a diminisher attack in chapter 1 to the Sub-Zero Dam. We defeat this diminisher attack and go to the festive town in chapter 2, since they are attacking there now. In this chapter we see the constructs trying to mimic our culture, as they have made a mechanical buggler mimicking our buggler and a combustor mimicking our culture's Santa Claus. Now we defeat this attack, and like that the defense turns into an attack as we fly to the holy city to take on the Avarian constructs. Now the reason why we go to Avaria is probably because Glacius has seemingly invaded the holy city of Avaria and taken its constructs. So we defeat the constructs in Avaria and find out that they are being led by the Arbiter. And we don't know a lot about Arbiter, so I'm not going into that. Now, of course, we defeat the Arbiter, or Arbiter, I don't know how to say it exactly. But sadly, we are forced to retreat to an outpost in who knows where. Now, this is in chapter 4. We are told that we have to defend this outpost with our lives, since if the constructs take this outpost, the war will end in their favor, ending the existence of the UEC. Now of course we cannot let that happen, so we defend it. In this chapter we find out that the remaining constructs in Avaria have rebuilt the Arbiter, making him mechanical, and they have also brought the flagship of their space fleet called the Nexus to take us down. Now this of course isn't enough, as since we are able to take both of them down, as almost all of the constructs are starting to die, Glacius decides to come out himself and destroy us. Now he fails at doing this and we win the game, and this concludes the Cold Construct event storyline. So basically the defenders have plot armor, the UEC has plot armor, and the XEF is just bad at the game. GG, get better. Now of course there's plenty more lore, like the Bliss of Finality and ranked up expert mode to cover, but there was already so much lore in this video, so I have not decided to cover that. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and please subscribe. Bye.